And apparently he's referring to, according
Of August,
according to,
Rabbi Furst Eicha.
so here in the third chapter, the 51st verse, Pasuk Nun Aleph. So Yirmiyah is making reference, according to Rashi, he's saying his eyes are continually grieving over all the daughters of the city. According to Rashi, he seems to be referring to his own mishpacha and the mishpachas of Kohanim. Yirmiyah, as Rashi says, was a Kohen. And so he and the Kohanim felt the loss of the Beis Hamikdash more seriously, more poignantly than anybody else. Right? So I'm just mentioning the moshel of the Chazon Ish that too with the return of many Jews here to Eretz Israel. So some people are very excited about the situation, and we're here back in Eretz Israel, and now everything's fine, and it's been the Yeshua, and they're all set now in our land again, and everything is back to normal. So the Chazon Ish brought a mashal. He said, let's say you had at the time of the Churban Abayis, you had a farmer up there in the Galil, and he had his homestead in the Galil, his ancient family territory from the time when his family and his tribe came in with Yeshua ben Nun, and he has his farmhouse up there, his cabin. He's got his fields, his orchards, and he's got his home there, and he's sitting there, and nice fire in the fireplace, and he's got even his dog there next to him. And then all of a sudden, the Roman legions come and they take him, and they burn his fields and his orchards and chase away the dog, and he's taken and led out to exile. And so after the 70 years of the Gullus bubble, he has a chance to come back, and he reclaims his old farmhouse, and he even gets himself another dog, and he replants the fields and the orchards, and he's sitting there back there in his rocking chair, smoking his pipe next to the fireplace, just like it was 70, 80 years ago. So he thinks everything's fine now, everything's just great, right? Just great. But if a person was a kohen and he was doing the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, and that was his life, so he wouldn't be satisfied with the return to Eretz Yisrael, to Yerushalayim, until there'd be a Beis Hamikdash rebuilt again, because that was his life. It's very nice if you're a farmer up there in the Galil, with your nice little collie dog and nice warm fire there, and smoking a nice pipe, right? And that's very nice. But if you're a kohen and your life is devoted to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you're waiting for the Beis Hamikdash to be rebuilt, and you can start doing the avodah again. So it's a whole different attitude towards coming back to Eretz Yisrael. So that's why Yirmiyah is saying here, according to Rashi, he feels more poignantly the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, Yerushalayim, the exile from Eretz Yisrael, more than anyone else, because he was a kohen, and that was his privilege to serve in the Beis Hamikdash. Just like that was the daughter. Rashi is saying the daughters are reference to various different families of Kohanim here in Yerushalayim. Okay. Let's see the 52nd verse. Who would like to read?
I would.
Okay, go ahead if you like.
Let's see. That's Nun Bet. Nun Bet.
Right.
Tod Tiduni Ka Tipor Oivai Chinam. Let's see. I have been ensnared like a bird by my enemies without reason.
Here I've got, they chased me sore like a bird.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Some su be vabor chayai vayadu even b. Okay, so I have been, I'm sorry, they have cut off my life like a pit and threw stones at me. Tafu mayim al roshi amarti nigzarti. Waters flowed over my head. I said, I am doomed. Karasi Shimcha Hashem Mibor Tachtios. Okay, I called your name, Hashem, from the pit, from the bottom of the pit. Koli Shamata al ta lem aznecha le rav chatsi le shav asi. Let's see. You heard my voice. Do not shut your ear to my prayer that I cry out.
This pasuk, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the psukim we say before blowing the shofar, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Let me take a look if I can find it quickly. Yeah. Yeah, this is the second pasuk before the blowing of the shofar. We say there are 7, 8 psukim we say. The first was Minametza Karsi Ka, and any Merchav Ka. Then we say Kol Toli Shemata Alta Aleim Aznecha L'Rachasi Yeshuasi. This is the pasuk we say before the Kriyasat, before the King Shofar. Yeah, very important pasuk. Okay.
All right, so we're at Nun Zion now.
Yes.
Karavta b'yom ek ra'echa amarta al tivra. Okay, so let's see. You drew near on the day that I would call to you. You said, do not be afraid. Ravta Adoshem Rive Nafshi Gaalta Chayai. Okay, so you fought for me, God. You redeemed my soul. You redeem my living soul.
Now, these psukim here could be referencing the Yirmiya's own particular life himself. When he was thrown into the pit, he was accused by the king and others of demoralizing the people. He was going around in the city predicting that the war will be lost, the city will be captured and destroyed, the base of Mikdash will be destroyed. People complained against Yirmiyah to the king that he's destroying the morale of the people. That's not good stuff for people to hear in the middle of a war. He was viewed as a traitor, as a demoralizer, right? So they threw him into a pit, and he was going to die there. They intended to throw him there and keep him there. But Hashem, as he said, listened to his prayers and came to his aid and saved his life. Right? Okay.
Is there any symbolism when Yosef was thrown into the pit?
There probably is. I mean, Yosef also, in a certain way, was trying to give tochacha to the brothers. That's what Rashi says at the beginning of the parsha there. That brothers became not just jealous of him, but they became indignant toward him because he was trying to correct them. Right? He was trying to correct them, and actually went to Yaakov Avinu and, so to speak, tattletaled on them, so to speak, and they didn't approve and appreciate that at all. I mean, that's there are parallels. Yeah, very good, man.
Ra'isa Hashem Avasasi Shafta Mishpati. Okay, so you have seen Hashem the injustices I suffer, judge my cause, mishpati, judge my cause. Right.
Is that anything? I'm trying to wonder. Is that anything specific? I mean, apparently, he's speaking about his own judgments, his own. So we're supposed to understand this a little bit better. Let's see.
The injustices he's experienced have been at the hands of the Jews, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he was mistreated by his own people. That's for sure. Yeah. Now,
so if he wants to be judged, if he's judged to be righteous, then that's going to be bad for the Jewish people.
Yeah.
That wouldn't seem that that'd be what he would want.
Uh, trying to- What is the mishpat? The question is, what is the mishpat? What's the judgment taking place here?
Right.
Uh, um,
So it was the people judging Yirmiyahu or the,
that's what I'm trying to find out. I mean, trying to find out what's the, well, the Alshich says, Mish, Shafti Mishpati im oyevai, against, with my enemies. So who are the enemies of Yirmiyah? They obviously the enemies were definitely Nebuchadnezzar and the Goyim, but he also had enemies within the Jewish camp as well, right?
Mhm.
So those who were not happy with him at all. Right.
Well, who was it that put him in a pit and threw stones at him?
The king ordered that he was to be thrown into the pit.
Who?
The king can't start up with the king.
The Jewish king or the non-Jewish king?
No, the Jewish king, yeah.
So that's weird because he says, I've been constantly ensnared like a bird by my enemies without cause. They cut off my life in a pit and threw stones at me. So they, in this case, would seem to be enemies because that's the previous pasuk. So if it was the Jewish kings, then he's calling them his enemies.
We did this into, I think Sarah.
Have a great success.
Oh, by the way, Roy, I see the Medrash says